Hello, so this is a tutorial video for math. So the question that I did wrong is question 2 here, and I will explain what I did wrong first. So the whole process and everything of completing the square I did right, but what I had done wrong was when I was taking the 4 out of the bracket, because it's the h in the hk for vertex. When I was taking the 4 out, I forgot to switch signs because the equation or the formula, it was minus h bracket and then k. So that means that when you take out this number, you're supposed to flip the sign when you take out. And I forgot to do that. And now I'll explain how to actually do this question. So basically the question is asking to find the vertex by completing the square. The first step to completing the square is to factor out the a, or the number that's in front of the x squared. In this case, it's the 3. All you have to do here is common factor out the 3, and so you'll have x squared plus 8x. The second step is to take the b, or the number that's in front of the second term, and you take it and you divide it by 2, then square it. This case it's 8. So 8 divided by 2 squared, that's 4 squared, and that will be equal to 16. The next is to take the result from that step, which is 16 here, and you want to add it into the equation on the right side. When you add it into the bracket, remember to add n minus the number, so that you won't change the equation itself, because the two numbers add and minus will cancel out. Next, you want to take the negative 16 and move it out of the bracket. Remember to multiply it by the number that's in front of the bracket first. And then once you move it out, what's left in the bracket will be a perfect square trinomial. This is what we need for completing the square here. Because once we have done this, all that's left is to factor. Now it's time for the factoring. This is simple factoring. So we have x squared, so we know that it will have to be x times x, 16, so square root that, and it's 4 times 4. We can square root and just do that because this is a perfect square trinomial here. And then, since the sign in front of 16 is a positive, that means the signs down there will also be positives. So now, the last part is to add the numbers. Here I did the factoring and adding the same step, but if you want to, you can have them as different steps. Now that we have the equation in vertex form, we can get the vertex. Just as a reminder, the vertex form is y equals to a times x minus h plus k. Vertex is hk. And so all you have to do is take the numbers out from in the h and k, which in this case are, well, negative 4 and negative 37. And it's negative 4 because in the original equation it was minus h. So that means whenever you have in vertex form, you want to remember to flip the number in the bracket, the h, before you bring it out. And that's it for this question. Let's do another example. Okay, example 2. So this is a word problem. The equation here is already written down, and again, it's just to complete the square and find the vertex by doing so. So the first step, as always, is to factor out the a from the first two terms. Next, you want to take the b, where the number that's in front of the second term, and you want to take that divided by 2 and square it. This time, since it's negative 4, you get 4 after you do that process. And then you want to add a minus 4 in the bracket. Remember to add n minus 4 so that it's actually cancelled out, because if you only do 1, you'll change the equation. So add n minus the 4. Next, we want to move the negative 4, the last term in the bracket, out of the bracket. Remember to multiply by the a, or the number that's in front of the bracket. So you take it out and it will be 12 after you multiply that. Now lastly is the factoring and also adding the last two numbers. I did it in one step, but you can also do it in two if you would like. Now for the factoring, we have t squared, so that's t times t, and then it was 4, so 2 and 2. And then to get the sign that's in between, you look at the sign that was on the b. It was negative, so that means that it would be t minus 2 times t minus 2. And so that can be simplified to just t minus 2 squared. As for the numbers, the number was outside the bracket, it was 12 and 1. So 12 plus 1, 13. So now that the steps are done, we are almost done. The equation is now in vertex form, and that means that you can just look at the equation and pick out what is the vertex of the vertex. Just again, vertex form is y equals to a times x minus h squared plus k. And so now we look at the equation and we see that the h are k here and 2 and 13. In the equation it was negative 2, but remember it was minus h, and that means that the signs on that number must be flipped when you take it out of the bracket to use it as a coordinate. So it will be, the vertex to be 2, 13. Now the question is mostly done. All that's left is a therefore sentence. The questioner was asking for the maximum height of the bow and when it's reached. And so therefore, the maximum height of the bow is 13 meters and it is reached after 2 seconds.